सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं sadguruṃ praṇato'smyaham. Hari Om. So we started the class by invoking the grace of the entire Guru Parampara. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. We prostrate to this lineage of teachers, which starts with whom? Sadashiva Samarambham, starts with the Lord Shiva himself. Shankaracharya Madhyamam. And Vedavyasji, Shankaracharya, etc., they come in between Asmadacharya Paryantam and up to our present teacher, our Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmaya, up to them, Vande Guru Paramparam. Then we invoked the special blessings of Shankaracharya ji, who is the author of this wonderful text. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Namami, I prostrate to that Shankaracharya ji, who is Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam, who is the house for Shruti, Smriti and Purana. House means what? Where all of them reside. All the entire knowledge of the Vedas, entire knowledge of the Smritis, entire knowledge of Puranas resides in this Shankaracharya ji. Karunalayam, and he is a very compassionate house. Why? Because whatever resides in him, he doesn't keep it with him. He gives it to all of us. Karunalayam. To such Bhagavat Pada Shankara, it was his name. Bhagavat Pada was a name given by his guru when the sannyasa was taken. Bhagavat Pada Shankaram, Loka Shankaram, one who brings auspiciousness to the entire world. Loka means world. Shamkaroti iti Shankaraha. The one who brings auspiciousness is called as Shankara. So to that Shankaracharya ji, we offered our prostrations. The third shloka, we offered prostrations to Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayanand Maharaj. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidvaram. We offered prostrations to him. Why? Because it is because of him that we are able to study. He was the one who brought this knowledge from the Himalayas to the plains. He was the one who established Chinmaya Mission. He was the one who established Chinmaya International Foundation. And therefore we are having this class, isn't it? It is indeed by His grace, right? So, who is He? Samasta jana kalyane niratam. He is ever engaged in working for the welfare of all people. Karunamayam, extremely compassionate. Namami Chinmayam Devam, to that Bhagavan, to that to that Chinmayananji, we offer our prostrations. Sadguruṃ Brahmavidvaram, he is our Sadguru, and who is the best among all the knowers of Brahman. And then of course, we should not forget the Lord Himself. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langhayate girim, yat kripa tamaham vande, paramānandaṃ madhavam. To that Madhava, to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, we offered our prostrations also. Who is how? Mukam karoti vachalam, who can make even a mute person speak. Pangum langhayate girim, even a person whose feet are not proper, whose feet are not working, such a person also can cross mountains. Yat kripa, by whose grace such miracles are possible. Tamaham vande, to that we prostrate, I prostrate. Who is that? Tamaham vande. Karuna, what is that? Madhavam. To that Madhava we prostrate. Paramānandaṃ Madhavam, who is the one who brings supreme bliss to us. See, but there is a very interesting meaning of this verse also. When it is said Mukam karoti vachalam, that by Bhagavan Shri Krishna's grace, even a person who cannot speak will be able to talk. It also can be interpreted as vachalam mukam karoti. One who keeps on blabbering, vachalam, he makes him quiet, makes him understand where to speak, what to speak. That knowledge is that which makes us humble, isn't it? So that by whose grace we are able to speak, and that by whose grace we also know how to keep quiet, where to keep quiet. To that Shri Krishna we prostrate. So these are the 4 verses which we will be chanting before every session. Of course, after the Shanti mantra of Sahana Bhavatu. And at the end we chanted one shloka, which is the first shloka, first verse of Vivekachoodamani. Sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ tamagocaram, govindaṃ paramānandaṃ sadguruṃ praṇato'smyaham. I am not going to explain the meaning now. When it comes, we will see the meaning, but that's how we are going to begin every class. Today is a very auspicious day for many reasons. One reason, of course, is because today is India's 75th Independence Day. And what better way to be celebrating this Independence Day than trying to be really independent? The real independence is when we reach liberation, where we are not even dependent on our own mind, when we are free from the slavery of our own thinking, our own bondage, our own mind. That is real freedom, isn't it? So on that path we are embarking upon today, and therefore today is a very auspicious day. Right? And you see, from one legend to another, as they say. One such great master was Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji, who was India's pride. From him to our Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, who is also Bharata Gaurava, he is the pride of India. We are carrying out their legacy, and therefore today is very auspicious day. India is a very unique country. Why? As Gurudev would say, he would say that India is actually 40 countries put together as one country. Because if you really see our nation, so many different states have got so many different things. Their weather is different, their dressing sense is different, the way they eat food, the type of food is different. Every single thing is so different, but still, as a nation, we are one. What is that which unites the entire nation? what unites the entire nation is our culture. That Indian culture is what makes India, India. And we should be proud that we belong to such a great nation and such a great culture. See, Indian culture is the oldest living culture in the whole world. And why is it oldest living culture? Because of two main reasons. First reason is that this Indian culture is based on the foundation of this entire culture is knowledge. Veda knowledge is the foundation of this entire culture. And therefore, Indian knowledge system is so vast. We have 4 Vedas, we have 4 Upavedas, we have 6 Vedangas, we have Puranas, Itihasas, Dharma Shastras. We have so much of knowledge which becomes the foundation for the entire culture. And what we are studying, what we are going to study is also part of the same foundation. Why? Because it is Vedanta. It is the end portion of the Veda. It forms the essential teaching of the Veda. Therefore, we are actually studying the base, the foundation of the entire Indian culture. Right? I just mentioned briefly about the Indian knowledge system. They are called as Ashtadasha Vidyasthana, the 18 places where the knowledge resides according to the Indian tradition. Right? You can see the entire talk is uploaded on the YouTube where in depth all the texts, all the Shastras are explained. But that forms the base. That is one reason why Indian culture is oldest living culture. The second reason is because time and again, whenever the culture was losing its touch to the present, a Mahatma, a great soul appeared and revived the entire culture. Thus we have Bhagavan Shri Vedavyasji, who understood that the Vedic way, how the Vedas are going, how the Vedas are taught from the teacher to the student to his students or her students, this way may not work because people are slowly losing their capacity to remember. Now, it should not happen that because of the incapability of some people, the knowledge is lost. In order that this should not happen, he revolutionized the whole process. He made the Veda, which is Shruti, which is heard and then passed on, into volumes, into texts, so that the knowledge is preserved. And that's how we have 4 Vedas. The knowledge is one, divided into 4 volumes by Bhagavan Vedavyasji. So great revolutionary, great Mahatma. Then after many years, again there was a period where people started to think that this Veda is nothing, but some actions that we have to perform for which we don't know why and how of anything. Why we are performing that action, we don't know. What is its meaning, we don't know. What is the mantra we are chanting, we don't know. So they lost touch with our Vedic traditions as to what and why are we doing it now. Many of them even went away from the Vedic tradition and joined the other paths of Buddhism, etc. At such time, again, another great Mahatma appeared. And it was none other than Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya. Since we are going to study Shankaracharya's text, it is only right that we see in brief biography of this great saint. Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya was born at this very place in Adi Shankaranilayam. Melpalur Mana is the name of the house. It is actually his mother's house. where he took birth. His parents were Shivaguru and Aryamba. Father was Shivaguru and Aryamba. Shivaguru is from Kaladi, a place not very far from here. And he was a very great teacher. Shivaguru himself had his own Gurukul and was in a very sincere study and teaching of Vedas and Vedanta. And Aryamba from this place, from Melpalur Mana, married to Shivaguru. But for many years, they both didn't have any child. So at their old age, so to say, they prayed to Sri Vadukunatha, the Lord Shiva of Trishur. And it is said that Bhagavan Shankara, Lord Shiva himself appeared in his dream, in Shivaguruji's dream, and said that I myself will come as your son. See what a blessing. Lord Shiva himself is appearing as Shivaguru's son. But I will have a very short life. In number of years, I will have a very short life. Shivaguru said, no problem. If you are going to come as our son, the number of years do not matter. And thus, Lord Shiva took birth as Shivaguru and Aryamba's son, and therefore they named him Shankara. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. We always remember these two great Mahatmas and we say Shankaram Shankaracharyam, Lord Shiva took birth as Shankaracharya. Keshavam Badarayanam and Lord Vishnu took birth as Vedavyasji. Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande, those who created Sutra commentary and Bhashya. Sutra is aphorisms, Brahma Sutra written by Bhagavan Vedavyasji, and the commentary on it, Bhashya on it written by Shankaracharya. Those who has written both these, Bhagavanto, to both of them, Punah Punah. One day we prostrate again and again. So Shankaracharya ji is no other than avatar of Lord Shiva, and his feat, what he has achieved in such a short span, only goes to show what a brilliant incarnation it was. It's called Jnana Avatar. Shankaracharya at very early age was a very sharp child. He lost his father also very early. At the age of 5 he lost his father. But he continued to study from other teachers. And it is said by the age of 8 he had finished study of the Vedas. See, Vedas, first of all, by the age of 8 we didn't know there is something called as Veda that exists. So let us not even go to compare where were we. Okay. By that time, Bhagavan Shankaracharya had finished study of all the 4 Vedas. Immeasurable and incomparable brilliance Shankaracharya was. Then at the age of 8, I'm telling very short story. Okay, there are so many things that can be told about Shankaracharya. Whenever we get chance, we will be seeing some of his stories also. But at the moment, we are just going to have a brief biography of Shankaracharya. At the age of 8, he thought that I have a very short lifespan, and if I stay at one place, it will not be achieved what I want to achieve as this incarnation. And therefore, he expressed his desire to his mother that he wants to take sannyasa. He wants to take renunciation. Now, mother said, no. After so many years, I got a son. That also after the son was born, the husband is gone. And the only son whom I have is saying that I want to take sannyasa, and it is very clear that the moment you take sannyasa, you won't stay with me. So mother said, no, I won't allow. So in one very dramatic incident, when Shankaracharya was taking bath in the river Purna, one crocodile caught his leg. And some of his friends who were there, they went running to his mother saying that, oh, his leg is caught by crocodile. So the mother came running. And Shankaracharya was in the water with the leg in crocodile's mouth and looked at his mother and he said that, now I am going to die, I think, and please fulfill my last wish. What is that? I want to take sannyasa. At least before I die, let me take sannyasa. Mother said, you imagine what that mother must have felt. Said that please take sannyasa, please fulfill your wish. And the moment Bhagavan Shankaracharya uttered 3 times, sanyastoham, I take renunciation, dramatically the crocodile left him. Now Shankaracharya says, now I have taken sannyasa, now I can't stay at one place. So Shankaracharya, in search of his guru, went to Omkareshwar, went to Madhya Pradesh, and there he met his guru, Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya, and studied from him. And it is said, the Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya also was stunned to see 8-year-old sannyasi coming there, because at that time it was not very prevalent. This practice of taking sannyasa from brahmacharya ashrama directly was not very prevalent at that time. So he said, first you have to prove that you are worthy to study, whether you will understand or not. So it is said, Shankaracharya was asked this question by his guru, who are you? And in reply to that, Shankaracharya composed what is called as Dashashloki, 10 verses. 10 verses telling who he really is and talking about that Brahman. And those who study this Dashashloki will also know that he is not just said that he is Brahman and he is not body, mind, intellect. That's not just the content of Dashashloki. He has refuted all the arguments done by all the other philosophers before him. That was his brilliance. But his guru said that, that is okay. But what you should do is you write commentary in your own words. You write commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam. And let me read. And then I will decide whether you can be a student or not. Shankaracharya, it is said, in one night he wrote the commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam. 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, he wrote commentary on each and every word, explaining what is that name about and what is its etymology, etc. and presented next day to his guru, saying that this is. Guru was so pleased. He was the one who gave knowledge to Bhagavan Shankaracharya. And then began the massive task. What was the massive task? In 4 years it is said, so at the age of 8 he took sannyasa. In next 4 years, he studied all other Shastra also, not just Veda, but Vedanga and Purana, other darshanas, other philosophies, everything was done. From 13 to 16, in next 4 years, he completed writing commentaries on the 3 main texts of Vedanta. One is Upanishads. So the 10 major Upanishads that are there, he wrote commentary on all of them. Sanskrit commentary on all the Upanishads, including Brihadaranyaka. Then on Bhagavad Gita, another text that is very essential, and Brahma Sutra. Okay, 555 sutras are there. He wrote commentary on all this, and he had finished writing commentary by the age of 16. Okay, and then of course, it is said, very, very beautiful incidents, that Veda Vyasji himself came in the form of a Brahmana to see whether this person has written commentary correctly or not. Right? Because he is the one who has written the Brahma Sutra. So he wanted to check whether he has written commentary correctly or not. And therefore he came and he had a Vakyartha, he had a discussion on some of the sutras of Brahma Sutra. And at the end of the discussion, Veda Vyasji said that you probably have understood Brahma Sutra better than me, who has written it. Some of the points which I didn't intend, it just happened that it was wrote. You even found those points and you have highlighted those points. For this brilliance, I give you 16 more years. So the short life of Shankaracharya, which was of 16 years, now was extended to 32 years. Doesn't mean that he will sit quietly, that now I have got 16 more years to live. No. Then he took it on himself to revive the culture of the entire country, entire nation. And we are talking about that time's India, the 8th century India, which was much larger than what we have today, isn't it? Oh, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a portion of Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, all of that was part of India. Shankaracharya ji went 3 times walking throughout the India. Look at that. And what did he do? First time when he went, he debated, discussed with all the great scholars and established Advaita Vedanta as the main philosophy. Actually brought back Indians to Indian culture. Those who had gone and joined both the philosophy as well as both the religion, he brought them back to the Indian ways, the Vedic way of living. The second time when he went, he composed many stotras. To each and every important holy place that he will visit, he will compose stotras so that not only that the knowledge is protected, even the devotion, even the bhakti sampradaya is strengthened. So thus we have over 100 stotras that Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji has composed. Right? Enormous. And wherever he went, he went to Madurai and saw Meenakshi temple there, and he composed Meenakshi Pancharatnam. He went to Kashi Vishwanatha temple and he wrote Kashi Vishwanatha Ashtakam. He saw Ganga ji, Yamuna ji, he wrote Ganga Stotram Yamuna Ashtakam. He went to Pandharpur, he wrote, on that Vithala Bhagwan, there is Panduranga Ashtakam, he wrote. So many stotras on so many deities, so that the bhakti literature also will gain, pace. And when he was visiting this entire nation, he understood that people are such that they may not even understand the essence of Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita or Brahma Sutra. They may not be able to study that directly because somehow they have lost touch with the knowledge tradition which was coming. And therefore, he also wrote number of preliminary texts called as Prakarana Granthas. As we go into the introduction, we will understand what is the Prakarana Grantha, what is the Shastra Grantha, etc. But he wrote number of preliminary texts that we must study before we go to the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, so that we will be able to understand Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra properly. So he wrote many Prakarana Granthas. Over 30 Prakarana Granthas are written. Some of them are very short, some of them are, huge, like the Vivekachoodamani that we are going to study. 581 verses it has got. Upadesha Sahasri has 1000 verses. Sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ has got 1000 plus verses. Such enormous writing. For what? He felt for people. He felt that every single person is entitled to knowledge and nobody should remain away from knowledge. So if they are not capable of studying the Upanishads directly, I must give them something by which they will be able to prepare themselves. And thus he wrote these Prakarana Granthas. Third time he went across India, he also established the spiritual centers, the mathas. In 4 directions of India, he established mathas from where the spiritual knowledge will continue to go, continue to spread in the society. He understood why Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist religion could take such a deep root in India, because they were very methodical and structured. Both the bhikkhus were structured organization, whereas in India, in Hindu sannyasis, there was no such organization. Anybody used to feel, they used to take sannyas and go to some place and do their tapasya, will have some students, but everything should have a structure. And therefore, he put that structure even for sannyasis, so that the sannyasis can help the society whenever required, and society will in turn support these sannyasis, so that the knowledge remains alive. So thus we have 4 mathas in 4 corners. We have Badri Matha in the north, we have Puri in the east, we have Sringeri in the south, we have Dwarka in the west. It is said that he also established Kanchi Matha in Tamil Nadu. There was also Sarvajna Pitha in Kashmir. Kashmir was a big hub of our Indian knowledge. Great scholars have come from Kashmir, actually, in the ancient India, from the ancient India. So he even went on to become the head of that Sarvajna Pitha and made sure that the knowledge which is revived will remain with the society. Such an enormous task in mere 32 years. One verse summarizes this. It is said, Ashtame Chaturo Veda. By the age of 8, Ashtame, Chaturo Veda, he had studied all the 4 Vedas. Dvadashe Sarva Shastravit. By the time he became 12, Sarva Shastravit, he knew all the Shastras, all the other scriptures. Shodashe Kritavan Bhashyam. By the age of 16, he had completed writing all the bhashyas, all the commentaries. Dvatrimshe Munir Abhyagat, and by the age of 32, he had finished his work of incarnation and he went back to merge with the Lord Shiva. Such a great saint was Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya. And when he wrote these Prakarana Granthas, these preliminary texts, with a sole motive that every single student, a beginner especially, should learn the Vedantic concepts so that we'll be able to understand the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, he had a very clear purpose for writing each Prakarana Grantha. What is that? You see, Shastra Grantha, when it is said what we call as scripture, is a text which should cover all the topics related to that particular Shastra. So, for example, Artha Shastra, when we say related to Artha, related to economy and politics, it should cover all the point. Then only it will be called as Artha Shastra. Isn't it? Now, like that, when we are writing Vedanta Shastra Grantha, we say Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, etc. are Vedantic Shastra Grantha. They should cover all the points that the Shastra Grantha, that the Shastra has. But Prakarana Grantha is little different. There is another verse which explains what is called as Prakarana Grantha. What is a preliminary text? Shastraika Desha Sambaddham. You can make notes whenever you feel like. Shastraika Desha Sambaddham Shastra Karyantare Sthitam Ahuf Prakaranam Nama Grantha Bheda Vipashitaha. Shastraika Desha Sambaddham. Of course, the Prakarana Grantha, the preliminary text, is in line with the Shastra Grantha and covers one or a few topics. Ekadesha. Ekadesha means one part. Maybe one portion of the Shastra is explained more in the Prakarana Grantha, in the preliminary text. Possible. Shastra Karyantare Sthitam. But whose purpose is subsumed in the purpose of the Shastra Grantha. So, if the Shastra Grantha is meant for moksha, for liberation, even the Prakarana Grantha is meant for moksha. Shastraika Desha Sambaddham Shastra Karyantare Sthitam Ahuhu Prakaranam Nama. This is what is called as Prakarana Grantha Bheda Vipashitaha, by those people who understand the division of Granthas, the text. They call such a text as Prakarana Grantha. So, in Prakarana Grantha, maybe one topic is taken and emphasized and explained. It is not necessary that each Prakarana Grantha should cover all the topics. And thus we have number of Prakarana Granthas written by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. We have Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana Panchakam is 5 verses, 40 instructions that Shankaracharya gives, which doesn't cover all the topics, but what it does, it shows us the entire spiritual path in 40 steps. This is the step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. In this fashion, it explains us the spiritual path. That's what Sadhana Panchakam does. Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, starting from there. study the Vedas daily, till the time you reach the last step, 40th step, Ata Parabrahmatmana Sthiyatam, be established in that Supreme Brahman. Every single step is explained. Now that is the purpose of that Shastra, that Prakarana Grantha. Then we have another Prakarana Grantha, Tattva Bodha, well-known Prakarana Grantha, which does what? Which explains the terms and definitions. So whatever terms we use in Vedanta Shastra, Atma, what is Atma? Sthula Sharira, what is Sthula Sharira? Gross body, the self. Maya, what is Maya? What is Jnanendriya? What is Karmendriya? When we use these terms in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita, what are the definitions of all of them? Those are covered in Tattva Bodha. Then we have texts like Atma Bodha. Atma Bodha, another Prakarana Grantha by Shankaracharya, that gives concept clarity. Okay, terms and definitions you have studied, but what about the Vedantic concepts? What about Vedantic principles? So each of such Vedantic principle, Vedanta Siddhanta, is taken and explained with an example. That's what is the purpose and the methodology of Atma Bodha. So such many Prakarana Granthas are there. Manisha Panchakam is there. All written by Shankaracharya himself. Now we come to Vivekachoodamani. Now Vivekachoodamani is a very interesting Prakarana Grantha because actually speaking, it covers all the topics of Shastra Grantha. And therefore it can be called as Shastra Grantha, but because of its nature that it is meant for a beginner. Even a person who has no knowledge of Vedanta also can start studying, and therefore it is called as preliminary text. Right? Actually topic wise it has all topics. And it's massive, it's 581 verses, it's massive. Right? And that beautiful Vivekachoodamani text we are going to study. Let us understand first the title, Vivekachoodamani. What does it mean? So Viveka means the ability to distinguish, to separate out. That is called as Viveka. Comes from root which means to separate out. So Viveka means discrimination. Discrimination sometimes nowadays is used in a negative connotation, that these people are discriminating. Not in that connotation I am using, but to distinguish, to separate out. That is called as Viveka. And Choodamani means, Chooda means actually the crown that olden in the days of the yore that they used to wear, the crown is called as Chooda. And Mani is the main jewel or gem which will be there in the center of that crown. So the Crest-Jewel of discrimination is what is Vivekachoodamani. What is this? You see, you imagine the Vedas to be a human being. Imagine. So Veda is a human being. Then what is the head of that human being? Is Vedanta is the head of that human being. Isn't it? If Veda is a Purusha, is a human being, then its head means the most important part. The final teaching is Vedanta. Shruti Shiras it is called. Veda Shiras, the head of the Veda. Now on that Vedanta, which is the head, there is a crown. What are they? Those are the Vedanta Shastra Granthas. The Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutra and all the other texts that explain Vedanta. And among all these texts which form crown, the Crest-Jewel, the Choodamani, that which gives beauty to the entire crown is this text, Vivekachoodamani. Okay? Vivekachoodamani. Pujya Gurudev introduces this text in a very beautiful way and he says, Vivekachoodamani, what will you see in this Vivekachoodamani? He will say in Vivekachoodamani, you will see philosophy married to poetry. Philosophy is like the man, very clear, this, that. Sometimes only philosophy becomes too harsh, becomes too crude, that there is only intellectual gymnastic and there is no beauty. And then of course there are other places where there is lot of beauty, poetry is there, but they are talking about something of the world. But in Vivekachudamani you will see that philosophy of Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, who ruthlessly takes on each and every other philosophy and dismantles it in the bhashya, in the commentary on Upanishad, etc., suddenly is married to poetry and is presented in a very beautiful way. You will see, I am not joking or exaggerating, why it is so beautiful. You will just see forget about the meaning, etc. That is the later we will see anyways of the shlokas. You see in different meters Shankaracharya is composing here. Shankaracharya is, it is as though, when he is writing commentary, etc., his hands are tied. His hands are tied because he has to follow a method while writing commentary, that he has to explain the word from the mantra and not go anywhere and write in a prose, not in a poetry way. Suddenly such a person who has got so much of talent, so much of pratibha, as they say in Sahitya, suddenly his hands which were tied for so long have been freed. His pen is freed. And then that pen goes for a joyride. That is what is Vivekachudamani. Philosophy is still there, no doubt. Whole thing is so logical. Every single verse is so logical. But it is presented in a very beautiful way. So many different meters are used in this Vivekachudamani. You will not find like that in other Prakarana Granthas, even by himself. When Shankaracharya writes Sadhana Panchakam, all the 5 verses are in the same meter. Tattvabodha is in prose. Atma Bodha, all the verses are in Anushtup, last verse is in different meter. But here you will not see like that. He has used so many meters. Anushtup, of course, Shardula Vikridita, Trishtup, and Matta Mayuri, and so many meters. As and when we will see the shlokas, we will see the meter also, and we will see how Shankaracharya ji is, the poet in Shankaracharya ji also comes out. Philosopher, of course, he is, but the poetry also comes out, and therefore it is considered as a masterpiece of Shankaracharya. And such a text we are going to study. But this would not have been possible without Gurudev, you see. Gurudev studied all these texts and brought those texts to us. He actually brought Shankaracharya ji back to us. Otherwise, we would have never studied Shankaracharya's text. And in Gurudev's life also, if you see, he was known for his Jnana Yajnas. That the sessions that he used to take, morning Upanishad class, evening Bhagavad Gita class, that's what he was known for. He took more than 500 Jnana Yajnas, going to different cities, different countries. But those who listen to Gurudev's Vivekachudamani sessions, they say that is something best. So it is masterpiece of Shankaracharya ji and it is also a masterpiece of Gurudev. He loved Vivekachudamani a lot. He conducted marathon camps in Siddhabari. Marathon camps, very interesting. So he will be there teaching the entire text. Some people will come for one portion, will stay for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. They will go. The next batch will come. They will go. He will take the entire text. Marathon camp he used to call. 70, 80 days camp. You watch Gurudev's talk on Vivekachudamani once, you will never forget it. And you will see also when I am going to explain some of the verses, in between I will be uncontrollable urge will come to me to explain what Gurudev says about this. Because something that maybe I have listened to 10-15 years back, but it has not gone from the memory. That strong Gurudev was while teaching Vivekachoodamani. So, this is a text which is a masterpiece of both Shankaracharya and Pujya Gurudev. So, we are lucky to be studying this. Okay, Vedji, if you say so, we believe. Question is, why should I study? Okay, that it is Veda is the Purusha and then Vedanta is the head and then all the Vedanta Granthas are the crown and Vivekachoodamani is the Crest-Jewel. Okay, fine. But first tell me, why should I study any spiritual text at all? Why? What is the need? Life is going on nicely only. Everything is nice. Why should we study? Because number one, we all know everything is not nice. You ask anybody, how are you? Their answer will be, I am fine. Isn't it? But you should never ask the same question again to the same person. Why? Because then the list will start. Everything is fine, but now from that but, then it will start. My children are not listening to me and I have to take care of my parents and how this wife or how this husband is, just neighbors also. The economy of India is going down. And now to this pandemic, oh my God. And, so much of problem. But you just now you said you are fine. That is to say, now what else can I do? I have to live. Therefore, we all know in us for sure that there is something that is lacking in our life. Isn't it? We know it. Anything that we do, even if it gives me joy, it doesn't give me complete joy. That purnata, completeness is not there. Somewhere it is leaving me with that feeling of wanting more. That fulfillment doesn't come. Why? Why? Maybe because we are searching for fulfillment in something which is not going to give us fulfillment. Maybe we are searching for complete happiness in something which doesn't have happiness in it. Possible? Possible. All of us at all times want to be happy. It's as simple as that. There is no other goal in any of our lives. We may have short-term goals that I want to finish studying, I want to do this job, I want to finish this work, I have to cook today. Those may be there, but at the end of every single action, what we expect, what we want is happiness only. And not little bit of happiness at some time. We want complete happiness at all times. That is what we want. And we don't mind giving up something that does not give us that happiness. You imagine, people even give up their own body, their own life in search of happiness. When we purchased some new phone or new car, new house, we were so excited. But after few months, few years, when that mobile is no more giving me joy, I don't mind giving it up and saying that, I think you should use my mobile now. Don't think I am being very generous. That is because I have got a new one now. Therefore, the old one now you use. Why? Because now that has stopped giving me happiness. This is giving me happiness now. I want new one. I don't want old one. We don't mind taking up things which will give me joy. We don't mind giving up things which don't give us joy. But still, we keep on trying in the outside world to get joy. Isn't it? We go to a new place to stay, and when we go there after staying for few days, then you start inquiring. which is a good hotel here? You see, I have come from Maharashtra, you see, a different kind of taste I enjoy. And suddenly I am in Kerala and too much of rice everywhere. Where can I get good Maharashtrian food or good North Indian food? Then they will tell you, you want North Indian food? But first you please remember that here lot of non-veg hotels also will be there. It should be veg hotel, and in that also they should give good North Indian food, okay? You ask and you go. Find a place and you go. You eat it. Why? Because the food is North Indian. The cooks are South Indian only. So when the South Indian cooks are going to make aloo paratha, it will never be correct. It will be exactly like how idlis are made in the north. You will never even feel that it is idli. But do you learn? No. What do you ask? What is another restaurant? So one thing did not give me happiness. I want to try another one. Then there also I feel, not up to mark. I will try another thing. Then I will try another thing. Last time I had Samsung phone. Battery gives lot of problem. This time I will try something else. Lenovo, let me try. Motorola, let me try. OnePlus, let me try. No, nothing is working. Let me try now. No, Apple. They say Apple phone is very good. Remaining in the realm of the world, we go from one place to another thinking that will give me joy. Seldom. What happens? It gives us joy for some time, but again it leaves us unfulfilled. But still we don't learn. Still we go from places to places, isn't it? My last girlfriend was very, she used to fight all the time. And I just came out of a toxic relationship. We use all these words. So what have you decided? No, are you never going to be in relationship? Not like that. For now, I don't want any relationship. For now means what? After some time things are going to change? I am hoping for that, Swamiji. No, but I have decided what. Now the next girlfriend that I want should not have curly hair. What? Yeah, because the previous one had. So that is our conclusion. The girl with the curly hair cannot be my girlfriend. Wow. Still we will go in search of that joy from somewhere else, from some person. I never expected you will be like this with me. Are your problem you never expected? All the people are like that only. They remember you when they need you. They don't remember you when you need them. But still we go to this person, to that person, then this situation, that situation, change the house, change the sofa. In the house also, just put the sofa there, put the cot here. Now, what is the TV? You change from there to here. All these, why? Because we are not comfortable. We want happiness. And therefore we think that if I change from here to there, I will gain happiness. In all this circus that we go through, we don't even give a thought that maybe my whole way of looking at this is wrong. Maybe I am searching for happiness where it is not there at all. And then even if I search for eons, even if I search for many, many births, I will still not get it. Why? Because it is not there. When we thus feel dejected, depressed, then we suddenly turn towards spirituality. Isn't it? That's what happens. And therefore you now today so many people have joined for Vivekachoodamani. Suppose you go and tell your friend that I have joined for this Vivekachoodamani class which is on every Sunday. You must also join. Suppose you tell. Then that person asks, what is this about Vivekachoodamani? No, it's a spiritual class. So brilliant book. You should join. Immediately the next question the person will ask is, why? What happened? Means something has to happen to me. Something bad has to happen to me to turn towards spirituality. Why? Because only at such times we remember that there is something that I must go to, which is not possible in all these things. Dukh mein sumirana sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Kabirdas ji says, no, when we are in sorrow, then suddenly we remember, oh, I want, but where is temple? Till now you are asking about restaurant. Now you want to know where is ashram, where is temple. Why? Because now that is felt. That burning is felt now. Never mind. When you come to spirituality, spirituality tells you that the happiness that you are searching for is you yourself. Is not in the world. Is not even in you. It is you. Now this is something which is suddenly, something that I can never imagine. What I am searching for is me. I, fix meetings with everybody in the world, but I forget to fix meeting with myself. Communication is very clear. Let us meet on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. I will send you the link. Everything is clear. But what about meeting yourself? When was the last time you did that? And even when we do, it is not meeting ourselves. It is meeting with our thoughts. What are the thoughts about? Some mistakes that we did in the past. Some planning that we are doing for the future. Some excitement that we are having for the present. This is what we are thinking about. We never go and meet ourselves. Vedanta shows you mirror and says, what you are looking for, look here, it is you yourself. No, but if it is me, then why I don't feel it? If the happiness that I am searching for is my own nature, if you tell me that I am Satchidananda Swarupa, why I don't feel it? Because, what? Because of ignorance. Because you don't know. It is exactly something like you wear specs and sometimes you keep those specs on your head when you are doing something and then you forget that it is on your head. And then you start searching all the drawers, all the places, everywhere you are searching. My dear, what you are searching for is already with you. But we don't know and therefore we keep searching it outside. Then suddenly your daughter or your son comes and he says, what are you doing? He says, I am looking for my specs. Hey, on your head. It is there. It is with you. Now, if ignorance is there, what it does? It doesn't let me understand my own nature. Now, another question will be, how come this ignorance still exists? Because we don't think about it. It is said in Panchadashi, avichara krito bandha. The bondage that you are in is created by avichara. Avichara means not thinking properly. You think about everything else, but forget to think about essential thing. Isn't it that's what we do? We will get funny questions. Very, very, very funny questions. How come peacock has got so many colors? Wow. Very good question. Brilliant. Why rat cannot fly? I am thinking. Never asked a good question about who am I. Who am I? You may say that I am Brahmachari Ved Chaitanya, but that is a name given to me. Who am I? Where I have to go? I am born as human being. Where I am supposed to go? What am I supposed to do in this human life? What is the purpose of life? We see all around us that people are born, people die. What is this life? This question. When this question comes, suppose you still try to find the answer outside, your still spiritual journey has not started. At some point of time, we start asking these questions within ourselves, trying to find a solution within ourselves. That is when our spiritual journey starts. The bondage is created because I am not thinking properly. How will I get liberated? Vicharena nivartate. Avichara krito bandha vicharena nivartate. The bondage that is created because of lack of thinking will be removed when I start thinking properly. Right? Tasmat jiva paratmano sarvada eva vicharayet. Panchadashi says in the same verse, and therefore one should always do vichara, should think. This thinking is what is called as viveka. This thinking is what is called as viveka, and that is what is going to be the main topic, the central methodology of this entire text. Why? In the name itself it is given Vivekachoodamani. What will I get by studying this text? This text will tell me how to think, what not to think, where to reach, where to start, what should I do next. All these answers we will get in this text. And that's why we must study it. Right? That is what Vivekachoodamani is going to do. Right? Let us begin the study of this text. We will read the first verse. For now, I will only chant, I will only repeat. When I am repeating, you can all repeat with me. sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ tamagocaram govindaṃ paramānandaṃ sadguruṃ praṇato'smyaham. Actually speaking, we should not break the first line in the place that we are breaking. sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ is one word actually. Okay. Today we will only see the simple meaning of the verse. In detail we will see tomorrow. The first verse is generally called as Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana means verse of prayer. So Shankaracharya ji, before writing the entire Vivekachoodamani, is offering his prostrations. To whom we will see. Let us first see the word to word meaning. Sarva, all. Vedanta, the culmination, the end portion of the Vedas, what is called as also Upanishad. Vedanto Nama Upanishad is said. Sarvavedanta, all Upanishad. Siddhanta, the determined conclusion, the final teaching. Gocharam, known through, where it can go. So, sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ, that which can be known through the central or main message of the entire Vedanta. Careful. That which can be known through the central message of the entire Vedanta. sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ. Tam is that. So that which is known through the central message of the entire Vedanta, but itself, how is it? Agocharam, which cannot be known. Which cannot be known means what? In any other way, it cannot be known. We will see the implication of it further, okay? Sarvavedāntasiddhāntagocaraṃ tam agocaram. And who is that? Govindaṃ. Had Govinda, that Lord. Paramānandaṃ, who is supreme bliss. Paramānanda, extreme bliss. Sadguruṃ, sadguruṃ, to my Sadguru. praṇato'smyaham. Praṇatah, prostrating. Asmi, am. Aham, I am prostrating. So what is the shloka saying? Simple meaning is, I am prostrating to Govinda and I am prostrating to Sadguru. You keep it like this. Okay, first. And how is that Govinda explained? It is something which can be known through the central message of the entire Vedanta and which cannot be known through any other means. To that Govinda I prostrate. I offer my prostrations. Govindaṃ paramānandaṃ. It itself is that supreme Brahman, extreme supreme bliss. To that Brahman, to that God, to that Sadguru, I offer my prostrations. So in this way, Shankaracharya, before beginning the teaching, is first prostrating. Okay? But there are so many other things that we have to see in this verse, which we will be seeing in the next session. Okay? Sufficient for today. Too much if you give, no, then otherwise. Today be careful, okay, while walking. Some of the ideas may fall from your head while walking, etc. Don't shake your head too much. Too much is gone inside, then difficult also. Right. Please reflect more on what is studied, so that when you come for next class, you are prepared. You remember, it should not happen that last class we studied. What? Which class? What studied what? It should not happen like that. If you are taking notes, please go through the notes before the class begins, right? You can even form small groups within your known people to discuss before we meet next week. All right. We will stop for today, right? We will continue in the next session. I once again offer my prostrations at the lotus feet of the Lord, Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya, Pujya Gurudev and the entire Guru Parampara, for giving us this opportunity to study this text. Alright. Initially few days we will be going little slow, because some of you may be very new to Sanskrit also, may not also know how to connect. So initially we will be going little slow, but we will catch up later. Alright. We will meet next week, same time. Sadguru. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.